Welcome back guys to Java Space. In the previous video, if I can remind you, we talked about the best way to secure our actuator endpoints. We saw two approaches. The first approach where we had coded the endpoints, and the second approach where we relied on Spring to give us the endpoints. And we mentioned that this first approach, it has limitations in a sense that if the endpoint changes or the base path changes, then we have to come and change the code. And then we mentioned that the second approach is unaffected by the changes. So the changes that we are talking about that affect the first approach, there are cases where you would want to change your actuator endpoint for whatever reasons. Maybe you don't want to rely on default path, endpoint paths. You want your own path because of maybe company policy or security, whatever reason you want. So I have already explained this. So this second approach is the one recommended by Spring because it's endpoint or base path agnostic. When you change the path, it's not affected. So how can you change the path? So this is how you change your base path. So let me just show you in the code quickly. Currently our default base path is actuator. So if you see here on my Postman, if I say sent from actuator, you see I have all the endpoints. As you can see here, they are available. But now if I want to change this actuator endpoints to something else, as we saw in the slides, let's say we want to change it to monitoring. So I'm just going to copy this line of code because I'm a lazy developer. I'm just going to paste it here quickly, and I'm going to replace this equal sign with a colon. So this is our new base path. So I'm just going to run this code again. So let's go back to our Postman. So if I hit this endpoint, I should get a 404 because now I have mapped this actuator endpoint to this base path to a new path. So if I do this, as you can see, we have a 404 error. So, but if I put a new endpoint that I've specified, monitoring, I should then get all the endpoint back. There are cases where I would also want to map the endpoints themselves, not just map the base path. So how do I do that? I will also copy this code. So in this case, I want to map health endpoint to something else, custom health. But before I copy this, I want to show you something here. So we see under monitoring, we have health. So if I hit health, I have this the health endpoint. It's returning the status up. But I want to map my health to something else, not just health. Maybe custom health or whatever you want to name it. So in this case, we're gonna name it custom health. So this is the new name we want to give it. So let's run it and see. So if we try to access health, also we must also get a 404 because we have mapped it to something else. So let's say custom health. Yes, we get the status up. Let me do this. Custom health. Okay, we get 404. So this endpoint is case sensitive. It's you cannot camel case it like with other Spring properties. So with all these mappings that I have shown you, now it should make sense what we were explaining, that this approach won't work when you're securing an because already we have changed health. But if we were doing this approach, health will still be unaffected by our changes.